Sharpening is the technique you use when your knife is truly dull.
And a knife is truly dull when the regular use of a honing steel just doesn't quite do the trick anymore. Unlike honing, sharpening doesn't realign an existing edge. Instead, it will remove steel and create a whole new edge. Hello, I'm Derek with Whetstone.
And I'm Megan with Whetstone. We are going to demonstrate using a whetstone today. But first, let's learn a little bit about it.
So the whetstones are indeed water stones. There are oil stones, but it's important, water only with these ones. They come with two sides, a fine and a coarse, as you can see up here. And today I think we're going to demonstrate the fine side. So the coarse is used when the knife has become really dull and it needs a lot of love and attention. So you would work the coarse side the way that we're going to briefly demonstrate, and then you would flip it over and work the fine side. If the knife, however, just needs a little touch-up, you're okay just to work on the fine side.
Okay, that sounds good.
Should we give him a demonstration?
Yep.
All right, so before we get started, Megan, what's your experience with whetstones?
I am just learning to use a whetstone.
Okay, we've done a few dry runs, but now we're really going to test this out. All right, so what we have done is we've soaked our stone first, and this is important that the stone itself is saturated. And the way to do that is to submerge it in some lukewarm water, which we've prepared here in advance. And you know when it's saturated, when the air bubbles have stopped coming up. And then we place it onto our slip-free base, and away we go. So, your dominant hand is right?
Yes.
All right, so go ahead and grab a chef's knife with your right hand.
Okay.
And then you're gonna put the edge facing away from you, perpendicular, there you go, perpendicular to the stone. Take your left hand and just put it up on the spine, closer towards the tip of the blade.
Okay.
Put the edge down on the stone and establish what kind of an angle?
14.5 degrees.
Yeah, 14.5 degrees. That's a little tough when you're looking down. It's a bit of a feel thing and it's a bit of a learning curve, but it's not that tough once you get the feel for it. So from here, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna gently slide the knife up and down the steel, or up and down the stone, sorry. That's it. Close that angle a little bit. It's a little high. Okay, and as you're going, you're doing it already. Draw the knife down the length of the stone, moving it across and slowly dropping that handle hand away so that you can follow the contour of the blade. Very nice. Now let's flip that over to the left side. And the amount of pressure that Megan is pushing on here should just be enough to keep a consistent contact with the stone. Now we're only going to demonstrate this once per side, but you would ideally do this 5 to 7 times depending on what level of sharpness your knife already has. All right, that looked pretty comfortable. How'd that feel?
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is just rotate the stone, so that it's facing the other way.
Okay.
And now we're going to run the knife across the stone this way in the same kind of a fashion you would a honing steel or a sharpening rod.
Okay.
You can do that with one hand or you can do that with two, depending on what's comfortable for you.
Okay.
Go ahead and just run that down the stone. Okay, and now flip that over the other way. Now what this technique is doing is it's finishing off the sharpening. At the beginning we're establishing an edge angle, and now we're finishing it. That's really good. Now as you're working with this, you will feel that the stone is starting to dry a little bit. And that's not a problem. All you have to do is take your stone, thank you, and just dip it back into your pool a little bit, creating a bit of a slick top. Put it back into its base, and you're good to go. So what did you think?
It was a lot easier than I anticipated.
There's a bit of a learning curve to the stone, not quite as straightforward as perhaps a sharpening rod or a pull-through sharpener, but doable.
Yes, definitely.
The Whetstone.